Hey everybody out there, hope everybody's out there doing good. I wanted to share a story with you all because I know a lot of people have joint problems, inflammation, pain throughout their entire body. So I have something that I can share, a story of how I overcame knee pain that was worse than my mom's when I was only in my early 20s. It all started with me going in the Navy when I was 19 years old. I'm 35 years old now, and I think the things that I went through, it like helped me to build up the strength and knowledge and also the desire to learn how to get over these things that I went through. Because I was in my 20s and my knees were worse than my mom's. Like my knees were popping and everything, popping, cracking. I remember I would feel like I would turn and I would feel like my knee would come out of place in its socket. It doesn't do that anymore, but it took a lot of research, trial and error to understand what the real situation was and why that was happening in the first place. Like I said, I was 19 when I was in the military, so construction battalion, like I said, it's already construction as it is. So doing construction, 2 tours in Afghanistan. My last tour was Ethiopia, and we do a lot of building things, building up sites, building up bases. Ethiopia was building up a school, so it's a lot of physical labor. And something I noticed, it seems like we were doing more things like combat training than our actual job that we had at the time. We had to learn combat skills to be able to use for when we're in these hazardous areas, to be able to, the main point is to be able to build the base up in these contingency areas like war zones to help out the soldiers, the army, the Marines and stuff like that. So I remember we would wear combat boots all the time. We would be hiking up the sides of treacherous hills, having to carry all this gear. There'd be daily where you'd be like a regular basis where you have to be doing some crazy hard work and everything. And at this time I was just getting into my working out seriously at a regular basis, because when you go to Afghanistan, there's nothing to do but work out sometimes for your free time, except get on your laptop or something, go to the gym. Other than that, there's not much to do. And I don't mean gym. When I say gym, I'm not talking about Gold's Gym. I'm talking about, this is a tent with some weights in there. Sometimes they did have nicer stuff, but still, when I was in the military in these different countries, you had to do a lot of hard work, and it was a lot of wear and tear on your joints. But the thing I was lacking back then was knowledge. I didn't understand that, coincidentally, the foods that I was eating at the time were accelerating the inflammation within my body. Now I'm gonna pull up a chart to let you see a lot of different side effects of inflammation. You know, inflammation can affect a lot of different parts of your body, but one major part that a lot of people suffer from is the joint damage, joint deterioration. So when you're working out, do a lot of high impact exercises, it breaks down that cartilage that's in your joints. That's completely natural. But when you're having an acidic diet, it accelerates it. You know, it's more inflammation. Plus you got the pain that comes from it now too. So you got to work, you got the pain from all that wear and tear you put on there, because my problem back then, I wasn't eating the proper food. So I was doing a lot of working out, a lot of hard work, but I didn't have the knowledge behind it to make sure I heal and come back stronger the next day. I remember years ago, I would just do a simple squat like this, and you would hear a loud popping in both my knees. Now it's barely noticeable at all. Like, I don't hear anything. Like, I'll put the mic. You may hear like the rocks from the ground. Now I can't even really hear it. But before, it used to be a significant, noticeable, loud pop in my joints. And I didn't start noticing a difference as far as my body starting to heal until I incorporated working out with eating the proper nutrition over a long period of time. You know, you got to incorporate your flexibility training, you got to incorporate working out, and you got to have the nutrition. Because if you're just working out and doing a lot of work and just thinking that it's all just about work, then you're going to just be wearing and tearing. You're just going to be accelerating the wear and tear. That's the reason why I was one of the best as athletic people that was around me, but I had some of the worst symptoms physically, as far as symptoms of damage, joint damage. I had pains in my body. I had a shoulder injury that lasted for years that wouldn't go away, and I didn't know why. And I never understood how important nutrition is, because your body can't heal if you're not eating properly. And it wasn't until I got older and started doing a lot more structural based exercises instead of those redundant workouts like the normal squat. The normal squat is beneficial, but when in life are you really going to be just like, all right, let me get that and put it on my back and lift up 500. Are you serious? Like, no one's ever going to just lift up that much. Or like you're going to have like some giant boulder. This isn't some Aztec war where you got to fight off some giant wall and push it up the, come on, we're not building pyramids. I had to learn the importance of incorporating a stretch into the muscle activating exercise. So I'm activating muscles on one end, and then on the other end I'm stretching. One end I'm stretching, one end I'm activating muscles to hold myself together. So it's like I'm doing two things. I'm pushing up and holding myself in place at the same time. It's like working out balance, and it's just consistent muscle activation versus a whole bunch of this. 1,000 reps. Oh yeah, 1,000 reps. Who wants to do 1,000 reps? Doing so many reps over a long period of time causes so much more wear and tear inside the joints, inside of your knees, inside of those moving parts, because your knees get more wear and tear than your elbows, but they function similarly, you know, because you got all this weight that's being held up by your feet. So you got to consider the care that you put under these. So something that may alleviate pain temporarily may be a brace, or like taking Tylenol, ibuprofen or something like that. But the real thing that's really going to help you out is increasing your strength mixed with the flexibility, and one of the most important parts, if you want to be successful over a continuous amount of time and not have to wait till your 30s to be in better shape than when you were in your 20s. Yeah, you heard me correctly. I'm in better shape, and it's easier for me to stay shredded now that I'm older than when I was younger, because I understand the construct now. I understand the simple instructions now. Now that I'm in my 30s, it's actually easier for myself to stay in shape than when I was younger. Not because I've built up the muscle over time, but because I understand that it's not about how much you're working out all the time. It's about the things that you're doing when you're not working out. Because it's not the workout that you're doing that's so important, because you can do almost any kind of workout and get results. But if you're doing every kind of workout, but if you're not incorporating the correct proper nutrition, then it's going to seem like you're not getting results at all. So one quick tip that I can tell you that I hope will catapult you on your quest for research is going to be to look up on Google or Bing a pH food chart. I always say that because it's so helpful. It's such a helpful introductory simple tool. You can look it up. You see there's tons of examples. Just pull up one with lots of detail, color, and information. You can start looking at that and consider the kind of foods that you're eating. Are most of your foods acidic, or are most of your foods alkaline? And if you want to start incorporating change so your body can start healing, you got to incorporate the 80-20 rule. So that means 80% good food and 20% bad. That's what you can allow yourself at all. You can't be having 90% bad and then 10% good. You know, you can't be like, oh, I ate an apple today. That's not, no. If you actually want change, you're going to have to change what you do, change yourself, change your habits in order to become the person that has no inflammation, all right? The person with no inflammation eats more than one apple. So now that I'm older, I run almost like every day. I'm like out here running daily, and this was not the case when I was younger. When my body was fresh, younger. Not the fact that condition couldn't happen, not that I couldn't get in cardiovascular condition, but the fact that I started having serious pains and problems with my joints at an early age into my 20s, right after I got out of the military. Right, I got out of the military, my joints started having problems. Pop. Crack-a-lacking for years, and it wasn't until I started doing this catapult of in-depth research of how to actually heal myself from the inside out, that's when I started being able to run like all crazy like David Goggins, you know, have like real good muscle density. Muscle size is not everything. 2-week juicing challenge. And if you're a beginner in all this and you want to know more, I suggest you take my 2-week beginner course that I have just for beginners, so you can learn in order to be able to progress years down the line. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace. Links are down below in the description box.